Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Fabs in the house, and welcome back to the channel. Guys, today I got something pretty cool that you don't really see that often. I got a couple of Cyril Doche, and these are Mont d'Arbois, and I'm just gonna check them out. But first of all, huge shout out to my buddy Jan, because he sent these guys over, so I'm able to share my impressions with you and just share my comments and whatever I'm gonna talk and show about them with you, because those are nicely handmade knives in Quebec, Canada. This is a French craftsman, and you can see like this leather pouch with this logo, nice stitching going on, which happens for both of them. Those are very neat, dual stitching. But anyways, we are here to check these two bad boys, which are front flipping knives. Even if they have like a more traditional flavor, these are front flipping knives, and look at that. So 1 and 2. So these two fellas are the same model, just like different materials. And you got some nice selection, I have to say. So this fella right over here has mammoth ivory scales, and the blade is going to be RWL 34, which is the equivalent of CPM 154. You get some pretty cool mosaic Damascus bolsters, looking pretty good. Titanium liners, and the same is going to be valid for this one. Stainless steel, of course, not Damascus bolster. You get titanium liners, and you get some buffalo horn scale going on over here. So there's a mixture of natural materials, of course, and some steel and titanium. So really nice mixture of modern and traditional. So very interesting knives. I'll just, since they are the same, I'll just go with this one. I wanted to show you both because mammoth probably is my preferred materials compared to buffalo. I mean, nothing wrong with the buffalo horn, but yeah, mammoth tusk, yeah, has a special place always. So pretty cool lines, I have to say. It's very rounded off, and at first sight I was like a little bit turned off, to be honest. But then I understood, because when you hold this fella, the natural position is just angled, and this guy just appears to be in the right position, even if it's sweeping up. So it's super comfortable. Of course, the handle is contoured, see, not flat whatsoever, and it's just gonna be great in the hand. It feels fantastic. So that was the first thing that when I picked this up, I'm like, oh, this feels good in the hand. Even if with this curved overall line, it might seem odd, but it's not. It's just functional. So this handle is of course, Damascus, you get mammoth, you get titanium. And another thing that I noticed, of course, that the pivot is hidden, but you get to see 2 screws on the lock side and none on the show side, which is pretty good. And 3 screws right over here for the scale, and another 3 in the back. So first thing, of course, that jumps to the eye is the lack of pocket clip. And that's probably something that's a tough pill to swallow for many people, because I heard many people saying, if there's no pocket clip, I'm not gonna buy it. But this is a traditional folder with some classic leather slip, which is meant to just be carried like that, or just to thrown in the pocket. So I understand that. In the French tradition, of course, like we got a lot of traditional knives, like Guiol, for example, or like the Thiers, Fontenil Pateau. Le Thiers is one of my favorite. There's other like French brands which are just not including a pocket clip, and that's perfectly fine. So there's different market, different tastes, so nothing wrong with that. But I understand people saying, yeah, I'm not gonna get it because I need the pocket clip. That's perfectly fine. So this guy has another thing that I wanted to check out, to notice, is that these scales are proud a little bit. They're not like fully flush with the bolster. You can kind of feel it with your fingernail, and I mean, it's not disappointing, but anyways, it's just, you see, it's not flush. Also, like the mammoth is a natural material which might be subject to variation, to expanding, contracting. I don't know, that's my assumption, but if you check closely, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. The bolts they have a very light contrast, so it doesn't really show the mosaic pattern going on, but it's all right. I guess it's just like a one feature, not to be too distracting from this fantastic veins on this mammoth right over there. The liners, the spacer and the bottom over here, they're pretty flush. They're very, you see, the metal is true and flat. Here you can see a little bit of protrusion, but it's all right. The blade is centered and perfectly safe right there. You cannot snag it. Another thing that I noticed right away was the lack of jimping, and that was honestly the most surprising part, because this is this spine is not crowned, but there's of course some chamfer, right? So it's not sharp by any means, and it can result to be slippery. So a little bit of jimping, especially in a front flipper with this very tiny protrusion, it probably would have helped a lot, because sometimes you can just miss it. But if you just go here, you're not gonna, yeah, it's just not gonna work. So you have to go a little bit up here, and this is gonna work no problem. Another thing that I noticed right away was the action. So you just front flip it and it's fine. And this guy, look at this. I mean, guys, traditional looking knife with this kind of action, I'll take it any day. It's so satisfactory, like really good. Love it. This guy, of course, is running on bearings, and you can tell by this action, which is so good. The look, I said, it's very nice. I like the blade shape. This is a flat grind RWL 34. You have a sharpening choy. Let's actually check. 2.61 blade stock, so that's thin, and that behind that is going to be 0.48. So this is a pretty cool slicer in a nice hand rub finish. You get to appreciate the logo Cyril Doche right over here. CD with the mountains of in the like around the lettering. Sterile lock side, not lock side, but lock side, we can say that. Another thing, like the accessibility of the lock bar right over here is not like fantastic. I mean, there is a little bit of chamfering over here. You can easily miss, but just angle your thumb and you're going to be able to just jam it in a little bit and just disengage the lock bar. There's another thing to be said. When these kind of liners, they leave a gap right over here, you are likely to have your flesh of your finger tip just snagged into this, pinched right into this area over here. And that is why some makers, they do like an apron that is rolling over and protecting that area so your flesh doesn't get snagged. But I mean, just angle a little bit, it's not a big deal. You're gonna be able, you're gonna survive 100%, but it's just a little detail I thought to mention. Lock bar is milled internally, I mean, for the relief, I mean. There is the liners are not skeletonized, the spacer is halfway through, but confers a very rigid structure to the overall knife indeed. Stop pin is right over there, and I mean, it's a pretty classic and classy build, very sinuous lines. Action is so good, like really good, guys, really good. I would have loved a little bit of jimping there, just a little bit, just some filing. It can be added, of course, but I would have loved like from factory. And here, you know, it would be also working as a jimping, like right over here. Reverse grip also works fine because of the handle is so well contoured. There are like zero hot spots and not bugging me whatsoever. In the handle is really pleasant. And I mean, guys, come on, this action is so good as well. Like you see, yeah, I can even flip it with my index finger, so that is good to go. The sound is not loud at all. It's a classy knife, so the sound also is not going to be obtrusive. It's really pleasant and kind of like subdued on the closing as well. So pretty cool look for sure. I love the unique look of the mammoth. It's unpredictable. You're not gonna know what you're gonna get until it's done. Damascus, mosaic Damascus for the bolter. It's a nice touch. I am a fan of the hand rub blade, of course, and overall this is a very good looking knife. It's not perfect. There's a little bit of little things like from the manufacturing point of view that I would have done differently, but you know, these are personal choices. And mainly that's the jimping. It would be added, you know, a little bit of traction to avoid misfiring, but if you do like here, it's gonna be fine. A little bit sharp, but it's all right, so that is gonna work. Actually, I wanted to check also the weight and give you like a full specs for these guys. So that's gonna be 4.66 ounces, and this guy 4.29 ounces. So if you're like preferring like buffalo horn, you know that that thing is gonna be probably lighter. Also, I noticed a little difference, of course, because these are like handmade, custom. So there's gonna be some variances. Like this backspacer right over here is a little bit taller than the Mammoth, but I mean, it's pretty much not the same, but very, very similar. Other than that, guys, nothing wrong to say with these guys. They look good, and remember, these are handmade knives. So there's going to be some variability. Another little difference I noticed between these two models is the bolster. This guy has a flat head screwdriver, which I'm not a fan of. And on this side, you have like this pivot, which just kind of shows, but it's well hidden as well. And in this case, no, you just have, you see, the two screws on the back, which I believe they are T5, so tiny, but not too bad. Overall, these are very good looking knives. Check this boy out, Cyril Doche. It's a pretty cool French maker, made in based in Quebec, and this is the Mont d'Arbois. So there you have it. Really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching and stay tuned.